This haul could have included a vampire novel and I left it on the shelves and I still don't understand why I did that. Hey everyone, my name is Envy and I ran into some problems towards the end of the second lockdown in my country, namely that I was left with barely any books to read. And since I don't have a library card, I could not just pop into a library. I also do not have the money to just keep buying whichever book I wanted at the time. Now I want to put out a disclaimer. I am very much aware that I, as a Dutch person, am in a much better position to buy books than many other people on this platform and on this planet. But if I look at the cost of living in my country versus the amount of money that I make, I am pretty much dependent on my local thrift store, which was also closed for about 4 to 5 months. So when it opened recently, I ran and grabbed books off the shelves because I needed them. Still, I didn't take too many because they were still starting up and all the interesting books are still in storage, they told me, so I'll have to continue visiting and see what they put on shelves. But the 3 books that I did get this first time around are all unique in their own way. I don't think anyone's ever heard of them, I don't think anyone cares about these books, but they made me very excited, so I'm gonna be sharing them with you all. The first book I picked up is this one, Nanking Road by Voorhoeve, and this is in fact a companion novel to this book that I bought over a decade ago, Liverpool Street by the same author. I'm gonna put that one down, because I am not strong enough to keep 2 books up in the air. Both Nanking Road and Liverpool Street are about the same main character, a 10-year-old Jewish girl named Franziska who lives in Nazi Germany. And in the 1930s, a lot of Jewish people obviously wanted to leave the country. Now, both books are set at the beginning in the late 1930s, when it becomes much more difficult for Jewish people to flee Germany. And in 1938, the only country that would happily accept Jewish refugees without too many visa issues and stuff like that, without too many documents, was in fact China. So in Nanking Road, we follow Franziska and her family as they flee to China, while Liverpool Street is the story of what happens when Franziska goes off to the UK. Now, in this book, we kind of see the Second World War from the, Jewish perspective, of course, but also how it went down in China, which was actually a pre-existing conflict of Japan versus China, and then it got wrapped up in the Second World War. We have the rise of communism, and we see all of that happen through the eyes of Franziska and her family. This book is basically an alternative timeline that asks what would have happened if Franziska hadn't fled to the UK. And I read Liverpool Street, I think 10 years ago, so there are going to be some parallels which I am going to miss out on because I do not remember every little detail about Liverpool Street. I've heard that they can be read like in the same year without it being annoying, without it being repetitive. But I also don't think that it'll be a problem for me because, like I said, it's been so long since I read Liverpool Street, I'm probably not going to get many of the overlapping parts of these books. I'm planning on reading this book in the first week of May because that is when my country commemorates those who fell in the Second World War and any consecutive conflict that we as a country were involved in. And on the 5th of May we commemorate the end of Nazi occupation of our country. So usually we have this huge surge in publications of historical fiction set in the Second World War, and I think it's important to pay some attention to that, especially since my own grandparents were alive for the Second World War and they are starting to share their stories just now, so I feel like I should learn a bit more about different stories from all over the world so these stories do not get lost to time. And this whole doorstopper of a book of over 500 pages cost me a grand total of 75 cents, so that's a good deal in my opinion. Oh, the second book is so much lighter. It's White Ghost Girls by Alice Greenway. It has deckled edges, which is like, I don't even think you can see it. Now you can see it. This is so rare in my country. Deckled edges is just not a thing. I think we think it looks sloppy or something. Anyway, this is 168 pages, so nice short read, and it's not horror, despite what the title might insinuate. This book is about two American sisters, Frankie and Kate, who are living in Hong Kong in 1967, I believe. Their father is in Vietnam, he's a war photographer, and their mom is off painting the countryside or something. She's not that involved, so these two girls, although they're teenagers, they're being raised by a Chinese nanny. And what the book is specifically about, it does not really say so. So I think it's a bit of family drama, coming of age type of story with some politics and history. Also, the synopsis adds to that it is a world of fishermen, junks, and unexplained bodies floating up in the sea, of plotting rebels, temple gods, and ghosts. What's gonna happen? I don't know, but I will probably find out pretty soon. This book was only 75€, so it was a gamble I'm willing to take, even though I do not have the clearest idea of what the book is about. 75 cents is within my budget. Okay, I picked this last one up because the synopsis sounded absolutely ridiculous and I loved it. It's Silverborn by Patricia Briggs, and it's about a main character who is a part-time coyote. Oh, I'm so sorry, but it sounds so dumb. Even like the synopsis starts with the sentence, "Being a mechanic and part-time coyote is hard work." Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I cannot take this book too seriously. Anyway, Silverborn is the 5th book in a series because my local thrift store doesn't care about taking series apart, and maybe the person who bought this just didn't realize that this is a 5th installment. Anyway, it's about main character Mercy Thompson, who is a part-time coyote. Awesome. And in previous books there were issues with vampires, but those are resolved now. And now she's dating a werewolf, and there are fae popping up, and they are evil, I guess. At least that's what the synopsis insinuates. So yeah, we got a shapeshifter who's a coyote, who is dating a werewolf, and they're going to fight against fae. I literally cannot talk about this book without laughing because it sounds so ridiculous to me, but at the same time I know that I am most probably going to unironically love this book. So yeah, take from that what you want, but my taste in books is sometimes a little bit weird. Also, this book was €1 while this one was 75 cents, and that just doesn't make sense to me. So that was my entire haul, almost 1,000 pages for a grand total of €2.50. So I'm very happy with that haul. I will not run out of reading material anytime soon now, I hope, unless we go back into a lockdown, and I really should not be thinking about that. Anyway, there was one more book on the shelves which I did not bring home, and I kind of regret it. It was a vampire novel set in Vegas, and I was like, not again Vegas. I just read Wayward Son. I don't want to go to Vegas again and think about Lamb. But then I came home and now I sort of regret not taking that book with me, so let me know what you think. If I should go back and grab that book, even though I'm tired of the Vegas setting. It also doesn't make sense as a setting for a vampire novel, because even though it's a city that never sleeps, there are other cities that also never sleep, and they are less sunny than Vegas. Go to New York and be happy with like rainy days and snow. Don't go to the middle of the desert if you're a vampire. So yeah, that's one of my options for my next trip to the thrift store. Do let me know if you think I should get that book about the vampires as well. And I'm very curious to hear which of the 3 books I just showed you in my haul sounds most interesting to you. Which one would you read first? And that is about it from me today. I do hope you enjoyed this video. You know what you gotta do if you enjoyed the video, so I'll leave you to it and I'll say bye and see you next time.